Trey Styles on the beat.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How are you guys doing? Welcome back. Just Simply Sports here with my main man from the ATL, Georgia Shouty, One Man Cave. What's going?
You already know what time it is. Same soup, Jerry eat it. ATL Shouty.
How you doing, my guy? How was your weekend? How's your week starting off?
Man, I can't complain. I just been very productive, trying to, I'm getting things done. Not even trying, just getting things done. About to get ready. I just signed my daughter up for girls flag football. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't have the schedule yet in the practice days, but hopefully I get that information tomorrow because she just so anxious. She every day asks me when we start.
Oh,
So,
that's what's up.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'll when she gets out of school, I'll go take her to the park and we'll probably do a little practicing, seeing what we can come up with. But
so what's she gonna play? Like what position does she have an interest in?
I don't know. I don't even think she knows. She just want to play.
Wow, it's because you're a big football fan. Is that what kind of guy?
Nah. She's
a little tomboyish.
She's in a tomboy stage. Like she don't like wearing any dresses. She won't wear a dress. I can't buy her a dress. And she just want jogging pants and sweatshirts.
Those are quite comfy, I must admit.
Which I'm totally fine with it.
Hey, look, it's good to be comfortable. I do not mind at all. So shout out to your daughter because I completely agree. Give me some sweats and a t-shirt or a hoodie any day. Any day. It is always more comfortable for me, man. All right, y'all. We're going to kick this thing off and get started. Shouty. It's my accent. My little Georgia accent. All right, y'all. We're going to start in the NFL because the combine has been combining. That makes sense. Maybe not. But y'all get my point, though.
Yeah,
y'all get the point. Y'all get the point.
The combine is combining, right? That makes sense.
I'm going to share my screen, y'all. We're going to see some of the highlights, man, from the combine. Some of the talented fellas getting ready to make their dreams come true. Hopefully. God willing. Have you been watching on the combine?
Nah, I don't. Combine does nothing for me.
Oh, I like watching it sometimes just to see what's happening. Just to see what's happening.
I used to watch the combine back in the day, but after you watch it so many years, you realize that it doesn't. Like, I guess some guys can improve their stock.
So what can we see him do now up in the 40? I cannot wait to see if this all translates the way when you see the height, weight, speed, and you see vertical jump like that, broad jump like that, it typically converts into a fast 40 time as well. Cannot wait to see this, but look at Styles at 6'5", 244. Metcalf obviously is an outlier at the wide receiver position with his physique and size. Even Warrior did the exact same thing at the safety position, and he helped take Seattle to a Super Bowl, a huge contributor last season. Cannot wait to see the rest of what we're going to see from Sonny Styles.
There he goes. 4.47 to start us off.
That's top speed, so that answers that question. Ace that test.
Golday, second run. He'll stick with the first. That's two of them. There he goes. 4.62. Anthony Hill. A Longhorn.
He's got a chance to get in the first round discussion. That didn't hurt.
Mm.
There's
Sorry,
nothing worse.
was a little,
Yeah, there's nothing
that
worse.
one was a little slow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, their linebackers run the 40, and I don't really care what you run as a linebacker. Can you
Hmm.
read the A gap and the B gap? Can you make tackles? Can you drop back in coverage?
Hmm.
Uh, and get into the right place you're supposed to be. Are you? Can you get a turnover? Can you cause a fumble? Can you get interceptions? Like these are the things I'm more concerned about, and that's what I was saying earlier. When I was, you know, coming up, I used to watch the combine every year, but then I realized what it really was. It's more like a, I hate to say it. It's like putting guys like it's like the market. It's like a meat market. You see who can run fast. You see who can jump high. So you can see who is the highest bidder for this person. This
Hmm.
person is going for this much. Who's willing to pay? And at the end of the day, that college film is going to give you the answers to the test of
Hmm.
whether a guy can play or not. Not the combine. So, but it's still exciting, especially when you get the wide receivers to run, the
Hmm.
cornerbacks to run. Those guys sometimes running the 4.4s, the 4.3s. You can kind of see who fast, but you can be John Ross. He
Hmm.
killed this 40 and couldn't play a lick in the NFL.
Hmm.
So it doesn't really matter. Can you read gaps? Can you run routes? Are you precision? Can you run precision routes? Can you catch? Those are the things that are important. Can you read defenses as a quarterback? Those are what's important.
For me, there's pros and there's cons to it. For those who are just like are gonna go like in the first round, it's gonna go in the top 10. Like those people don't necessarily need to go to the combine improve what they're already put on film. You know what I mean? Because you already know that they're talented. But
Right.
in the same sense, for those who may not have been as fortunate enough to be in a situation where they were able to show how talented they are, because a lot of receivers are dependent on your quarterback. You know what I mean? So your
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, is not that good, then obviously you don't look as good.
Right.
So
Right.
it goes together. So for those people who want to show that they're capable of more, they're faster than what it looks on film, I get them going to show, just show their potential.
Right.
But there was a conversation. I think Cam Newton had was talking about it. He was saying that Fernando Mendoza should participate in the combine, and more times than not, the quarterbacks don't participate, especially like the ones who are going to go in the first round, top 10, because they already have their film. And I understood what he was saying in regards to you know who you're throwing to the whole entire season. You've built a camaraderie, with your wide receivers, your running backs, things of that nature. So there's a chemistry that's there. But what does it look like throwing to somebody who's brand new? Is it still the same? Is it a little bit off? You know what I mean? So for something like that, I understood what Cam was saying. But what do you think? In regards to something like
Well, just to piggyback off what you said, I think the combine is for guys who their spots aren't solidified. They want an opportunity to earn the draft spot or maybe move up in the draft.
that?
Same with the NBA combine. The top players don't go to the NBA combine. Those players who want to get maybe squeak into the first round or even go from undrafted to the second round, those are the guys who are going to show people that I'm better than what you saw because maybe my
Mhm.
teammates around me weren't as good or something like
Mhm.
that. But when you are projected to be the first quarterback taken or at least the first rounder, um,
Mhm.
you can only hurt your stock. You can't really help it as much. Your pro day is going to do everything for you. So
Mhm.
just stick to your pro day. I mean, most of the top quarterbacks who've been coming to the league the last 10 years or so, they don't go to the combine. So I don't think Mendoza has there's no reason for him to attend the combine. He can't help himself. He can only hurt himself by going to the combine.
I would like to see him in general. Camp, what an interesting point. I would like to see QBs throw to somebody outside because I don't think he's a generational talent. I think he's very competent. I think he is
Right.
talented, but I don't think he's generational. So I would like to see what it looks like, without throwing people that he's used to or in the system that he's accustomed to playing in. Does that throw you off any, or do you not? You just keep going, or are you able to just keep playing like you normally have, during the season? Because some people I think
Right.
are good, so I might kind of drop down, like you said, But I would I would like to see it though. I could be wrong. Time will always
No,
tell, but I don't get generational from him, at least not yet.
no, I don't get it. I don't get it either. But you're correct. Like I can understand your position and wanting to see him and want to see how he performs on that stage. But I'm saying if I'm his agent,
You're like, don't do it.
no, ain't no sense in doing that. So no, yeah, we're gonna keep that. We're gonna have to let them see. We're gonna have to let them wait and find out.
Do you think Fernando Mendoza is a number one draft pick, or like in terms of his talent, or do you think he happens to go number one because of the draft class that he's in? Like next year with the
I
Archies and stuff, will you think he was still go number one or
I'm
top
not.
three?
I'm not sold that he's gonna be the number one pick. I think he
Really?
will be a first. I think he will be a first rounder. I do.
So who do you think
he.
will be number one?
I have no idea. I mean, it's probably gonna be him, but I'm saying I'm not sold.
Okay.
There's a lot of players who got to work out for a lot of teams. Now, if the Raiders decide that after they work out Mendoza, they're gonna be at his pro day. They're gonna interview him. They're gonna put him through the ringer. If they decide at that moment that what we think he's the guy, they're gonna let everybody know that they think he's the guy, and then we're gonna know, this is the guy that the Raiders are going with. But until that time,
he's just the guy.
Yeah, right. The Raiders got a lot of holes to fill. Pause.
Yeah.
So they got to make sure that they do their due diligence, and they got to make sure they hit on this first round pick, whether it's a quarterback or not. Because at the end of the day, and I know how how the season looked last year. I know how some people feel about Geno Smith, but if Mendoza is just a guy, if he's just another regular guy, then I might as well draft me the best player I can get. And I got to roll with Geno one more year because all the really good quarterbacks are coming out next year. And I'm not. If I don't think Mendoza is 2 times better than Geno Smith, I'm gonna wait till next year when I know a whole bunch of stud quarterbacks are coming out. So let me get the best player I can get right now, whether it's a offensive lineman, whether it's a defensive end, whether it's a wide receiver. I mean, you're not gonna take a wide receiver at number one, but let me take the best player available in the draft. If I don't believe Mendoza is the next coming of Joe Montana or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes.
Even Josh wasn't Josh when he first arrived. It took him some time to kind of really get himself together, so to speak. But hold that thought. Keep that thought. I'm going to ask you this question real quick. While we're talking about the Raiders and other teams, because there are some shifts and there's some QB positions that have now become open. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick because I'm like, you think this changes anything for the QBs that are coming out, like the Fernando Mendozas and things of that nature? Hold on. All right. Here we go.
Tag on players. We've seen a couple already. Adam, who are the names we should be focusing on here over the next 24 hours?
Well, I think there's some questions about who's going to get tagged right now. We'll start in Indianapolis. The Colts are trying to get Daniel Jones signed to a long-term deal. If they don't, I think the transition tag could very much be in play here for the Indianapolis Colts. That would be about $8 million less than the franchise tag. But the Colts have two players they really want to keep. Alec Pierce, the wide receiver, Daniel Jones, the quarterback. We'll see how they decide to figure it out here in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, the New York Jets don't expect to let Hall get out of their building, and they're talking about tagging him if they can't get done a long-term deal. I would think it would be a franchise tag. I know people have brought up the transition tag. I think if they're going to tag Breece Hall, it's probably going to be with a franchise tag, but they're trying to get a deal done by the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline tomorrow. And as for the Seattle Seahawks and the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, as we said last week, a couple of weeks ago, unlikely that they're going to tag him. It's looking like he's going to be allowed to test the free agent market. The Seahawks have so many players that they need to retain. They want to re-sign Jackson Smith-Njigba. They want to re-sign Devin Witherspoon. They want to keep together their core. And running backs, as much as they like Kenneth Walker and as much as they know he meant to this team, there's so many needs that have to be addressed and only so many dollars you have to spend, which could result in Walker not being tagged and being allowed to truly test the free agent market next week.
We saw one running back last week re-sign, Javonte Williams in Dallas, but it sounds like Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker.
I'm gonna pause right there with that. That is so crazy to me. Like, this man was the MVP. Are we really, like, we really can't find some kind of deal for him? Really?
He's
Really?
a running back, and not only he's a running back,
Crazy.
he's dealt with injuries the past 3 years. The past few hell, since he's been in the league, he's been dealing with injuries. This year he was able to stay fairly healthy, especially down the stretch, and it helped them win the Super Bowl. So he's a good player. They know he's a good player, but when it comes to paying running backs, that's something that you got to be really careful about. How
Mhm.
much do I pay him? How many years do I pay him? Knowing his injury history, it's really a dicey situation. So they got to play it very carefully.
Look, I understand, his history and everything. Like, I completely get that. But I hate when someone is like the belle of the ball, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, they show up big time, and you want a ring with this man. Like, you like, he's MVP. You know what I mean? Like, he was part of. They
Yeah.
shut down JSN. You know what I mean? As talented as he is, he got hurt. He missed a little bit of time in the game, and he was not able to get off. Get off pause the way like we're used to seeing him, get off in games. So I'm like, be mindful, when you start just giving up so fast and switching things around, like, it never seems to work out. I didn't like when the Eagles did that when they won, 2 seasons ago. I'm like, hold on, we're making a lot of changes in this offseason. Like, you just won. Now, I
Right.
understand, like, I'm not saying that, you shouldn't make any changes at all. But when it comes to, like, if you have like a top O line, a top defensive line, like, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I keep that intact, especially like my offense is number one or number two in the league. This is a very like hard league. You know what I mean? I'm not
Right.
gonna try to like, switch too many things up right away after we just won a title. I'm gonna try to run it back first. I'm at first, and if we can't, then we can't.
Well, shout out to Chief Rocker. I see you out there. But I will
So,
say this.
hold on, let me go on the comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say this. Ben Johnson said it best. This year. That ain't got nothing to do with last year. We started at the bottom.
Of
We
course, yeah.
scrubbing everything. Ain't this team ain't gonna be the same. You had a number one offense last year. You can have a number 30 offense the next year. So we started at the bottom. Everybody fight for their position, and you got to earn your way. So with that being said, Seattle, that team that won the Super Bowl will be unique for that year. You don't bring everybody back and let's see if we can run it again. It's not the NBA. It's not Major League Baseball. And even in those situations,
I disagree.
even in those situations, they'll plug out a few pieces. But no, you don't bring everybody back. You try to get better. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Because every other team in the league, their goal now is to be better than the Seattle Seahawks. So you better keep up, or else you're gonna be left behind. That's why just about every year, one of the two teams that make the Super Bowl, and sometimes both, they miss the playoffs the next year because you can't afford to stand pat. You got to get better.
Well, in the Eagles situation, before all the changes, they were like number one, number two. I'm not talking about somebody who was number 5 trying to go number 3, number 2. Like you're right at the top. You're right at the top. So I don't see how many like changes that you need. Now, unless you have somebody who's a part of the O line who was in and out because they were hurt or they had injuries, that's something different. I understand that. If you got 2 of your players who are missing time because of personal reasons or lack of professionalism or something like that, okay, you know what? We're gonna have to move on from you. But if the players are there, they're playing, they haven't had too many health, scares or injuries, and on top of that, we are dominant, like we're at the top of this league. I'm not gonna mess with that too tough. Not right away. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, But Seattle, the Texans, like they don't need much,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, in terms of their defense.
Well, it's a tricky thing because I have to, as a general manager, the general manager job, he has to control the salary cap, and
Hmm.
definitely when you got players who are free agents, like a Kenny Walker in this situation, what we're talking about.
Hmm.
I got other guys who are also free agents. I want to bring a lot of my guys back who I believe in. I might even want to bring some free agents in. If I bring a free agent in, that means somebody got to go. But when I'm looking at a player like Kenny Walker, who this is his prime time to strike. If he's gonna get paid, this is now. He's Super Bowl MVP. He's
Yep.
coming off a great season. Do we have the money to pay him what he want and still be able to bring some of the other guys back or bring somebody from free agency in that's gonna make sure that we're still one of the top teams in the NFC? Definitely the Seattle. They probably played in the toughest division this year in the NFC West with the 49ers, with the Rams. So you got to make sure that you're able to stay on top. So it's tricky, definitely in NFL, because you have that hard salary cap. You can't go over it. Once you get up to that number, you got to stay at that number. So, I mean, it's a tricky situation. I'm pretty sure the Seahawks would love to have Kenny Walker back on a team-friendly deal. But as a running back, especially when it's your first contract, you got to get as much money as you can, because this might be your own. This might be your only contract. So you got your Super Bowl championship. You are the MVP. Now it's time to secure your family's future. And so, if they can sign him back, they will. But he got to get as much money as he can.
Well, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this because, as we all know, if you did not know, it looks like Kyler Murray is done with the Arizona Cardinals. They're done with him. They're trying to move on from him. They're moving on from him. Looks like Tua is no longer going to be in Miami. So there's some QBs that are on the move. I'm going to play, and I want to ask you when we're done. Do you think that these QBs, the Kyler Murray's being out there, the Geno Smith, Captain Kirk, does that change anything for the QBs that are coming out this upcoming draft? Hold on.
Yeah, they got Charbonnet. Charbonnet was hurt, and they like Charbonnet too. Nah, he won't. He won't get what Barkley getting. You can believe that. The Vikings are an interesting team when it comes to their quarterback position. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't hear the talking on the YouTube. But I
You
get.
can't hear what?
No,
Because I
we
heard
can.
I heard you talking. Adam Schefter.
Yeah, we couldn't hear Adam Schefter, but I see. I get what he's talking about, because it's been a talk about JJ McCarthy, and are they ready to move on? The
Look,
Minnesota.
He was saying add, I guess like as a backup, not replace.
Yeah. I think the Minnesota Vikings are in a very peculiar position because you did take JJ McCarthy with the 6th pick, and he has dealt with a lot of injuries. He's seems like he gets injured every game, but I did see progress throughout the season when he was able to play. Now, yes, you're going to need to bring in a veteran quarterback to either compete with him or to be there in case he gets hurt. But how much are you willing to pay for this guy? Minnesota could be, depending on how they look at the situation. If they believe in JJ McCarthy, then Kirk Cousins would be a great fit to bring in. If something happens with JJ, maybe he tails off. You put the veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins in there with those weapons that he has, and you can move right on along because that defense is solid. But if you don't believe in JJ McCarthy, then I would say this is a place where you could see a veteran quarterback like a Tua or a Kyler Murray or maybe even Malik Willis or somebody like that go. And with those weapons that he has around him and that defense, Minnesota can be right in the thick of things. So it all depends on how do they really view JJ McCarthy, and it's going to depend on the work that JJ McCarthy puts in because he has to understand this is it. You got to show or you got to go, and that's going to be determined this season, and it's going to start in the off season.
I don't think that he'll be out there just yet this season. I say that because obviously he got hurt the first season, so you can't really count that because he was injured. And then this past season, again, he was injured.
Right.
So because he's kind of like he's injured more times than not, you can't really get like a fair assessment. Like he has like these flashes where you see and you think like, okay, like he can be very good, in the right situation. And then other times, like he'll have a bad game. The first 3 quarters, like the fourth quarter out of nowhere, it's like he just takes over. You know what I mean? He's very unpredictable. I guess that's the best word to use for him. You know what I mean? Like you're not sure what you're gonna get, especially when it comes to the injury side of things and his health. If I'm looking for a QB, I might take a gamble with Kyler Murray. I might, as a backup. I'm not saying take him, over or JJ McCarthy. Kyler Murray is talented. I think he's in his own way. He has like a little bit of me. It's like it's just like he wants to be like Patrick Mahomes s. That's the way he kind of carries himself. But you haven't shown that on the field. You know what I mean? So it's like we can't treat you like that. When you don't show up like that. So I'm hoping that maybe him getting booted out of Arizona and getting sat down, like he did last season, will hopefully show him that look, we don't need you in this league. Either you're gonna come in and show up, or you're gonna be out in like the next couple of seasons.
Right. Well, with Kyler Murray, let's see how Arizona deals with this situation. If they try to trade, I can't take his salary. He's not that good. I don't want to pay the money that he's due. But if they release him and now I can get him on a cheap, yes, he's worth bringing in and seeing if we can rehabilitate his image and his game. But that's what we got to see. As of right now, if I'm Minnesota, I got to be looking, and I like what Romero the King says in the chat. I like Brissett. I don't like the Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson.
Hold on. There will be no Russell Wilson slander or
no slander.
There's
no slander. I just think Russell Wilson need to hang it up. He's just not good. But
Russell is good. Russell is good.
I think Brissett would be a good great choice. Kyler. I think Kirk Cousins would be a great choice. But or someone in that ilk, because you don't have to pay that much for them, and they're very capable. If JJ McCarthy can't get his stuff together, because at the end of the day, the best ability is availability, and if you're not available, then
Russell's always available. I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead, the ability part is something that we have to discuss. But I don't want to see any more Russell Wilson.
Where's Miss Stacy at?
No, listen though, I enjoyed Russell Wilson's career. I think he's borderline Hall of Famer. I
Borderline.
really, I think he's borderline Hall of Fame. I don't think
You
he's
know
first.
what?
I don't think he's first ballot, but I think eventually he gets in because when he was in Seattle, those early Russell Wilson years, those some of the best football off script because he never really had a good offensive coordinator. Bevel wasn't a good offensive coordinator. That was all Russell Wilson. That was Russell Wilson magic. That's what he was doing. But I just think at this point he's hanging on and you've done enough. There's no reason for you to continue to make us forget the great player that you were. I want to remember Russell Wilson for what he was in Seattle when he was winning Super Bowls. But I don't these past few years, Russell Wilson, it just diminishing his legacy, in my opinion.
I get what you're saying, because being bounced around like that obviously is never a good look. And then, how Sean Payton's low vibrational behind treated him, understand, I get what you're saying. But I think I'm not gonna say Russell's gonna win a Super Bowl like right now, or like in the upcoming, years, so to speak.
Never.
I never say never. I never say never. But I will say, Russell still has his IQ. He still has a great arm. He's not as mobile as he once was, but there are some, but in terms of health, more times than not, he's always he's healthy. A lot of QBs are more talented like Joe Burrow, but he's healthy, then he's not. Then he's there and he's not.
You never know, Russ. Last year he said he was hurt and he played. I was playing hurt. Come on, I just don't like how he handled that exit interview and throwing the coaches under the bus.
With the Giants?
I didn't like that. Yeah. Talking about I was hurt in the game, but when he played his best game against the Cowboys, he said I got hurt a week before that. But I'm like, Russ, you had your best game against the Cowboys. You put up 40. Yeah, no? And then so then he was like, "Yeah, but I was hurt, and then that next week I was hurt. I shouldn't have been playing. Why didn't you say something then?" But
did they ask him a certain question that made him answer like that?
No, he just came out.
I didn't see it.
No, he just came out and volunteered the information, and the thing was, he wasn't on the injury report. So then the league had to look into the Giants and how they handle their medical, because Russ is telling us that he was hurt, but he was playing with no medical designation. They're gambling too much money on these games for you not to let us know that you're hurt or not. So,
Romero, the King, Russell's a quick fix for some team drafting the QB this year, and his weapons amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, I'm not saying he's going to be there the next 4 or 5 years or nothing, no, but I think he can get you over the hump for a year, depending on who's around. That has to be a strong O-line. Defense can't be like at the bottom, like one of the the bottom in the NFL. Nobody believed in Sam Darnold, and look how.
No, this is a different situation. Sam Darnold was
but
young.
People didn't though.
Yeah, but he's young though.
Young or not, they were like, Sam is not to be trusted. He always sees ghosts. He can't get it done. Look at what happened in Minnesota. He had Justin Jefferson. He had this one. He had that one, and he failed the big game. So I'm just saying.
Give me an example of an old quarterback who, out the years of not doing anything, all of a sudden he just. In football years, he's old. He's not old in real life, but in football years, he's old.
Was he early 30s?
Maybe Russ will be. Maybe he can. I wouldn't say he can be a backup quarterback somewhere and probably help a young guy, develop. And then if this young guy gets hurt, then he can come in for a couple games. Maybe if you need 2 or 3 games, but he's not a guy I'm finna start and rely on for like my season. Like. This is and not even quite, because Joe Flacco is better, but this is a Joe Flacco situation if you got Russell Wilson on your roster and you're really thinking about starting him. Like, where this going.
I mean, I thought he did fairly good that year, though Sean Payton didn't get along. But that year that Sean Payton came, he actually played pretty well. they wanted him to restructure his deal and whatnot, so they kind of sat him down, towards the end of the season because Russ is like, no, I'm not giving him no money. So that's not happening. But had that not happened, I would like to have seen what would have been. Hold on, Darlington's performance in Minnesota. So no one had faith in him. It was trash. I got you what you're saying. I mean,
That's
I get
not
what you're
true.
saying. I get what you're saying because he didn't those last two games obviously weren't good, but they were 14 wins.
Yeah, but
14
what
and
he's
3,
saying is
something
not
like
true
that.
though. What he's saying
What?
not true because as soon as that season ended, the Seattle Seahawks gave Sam Darnold a contract, so somebody believed in him. Maybe
Well,
he
we're
didn't
talking
believe in him.
at least about Minnesota. I mean, because he didn't play good. I understand what he's saying. I mean,
Yeah,
it was what happened, But my thing is, I really feel like there was somebody or some people that could come out and say it who were there kicking themselves watching him win that Super Bowl in Minnesota. I know
of
Justin
course
Jefferson
there
was going
was.
around. I know Justin JJ was like, dang,
Right.
really?
Because they got it wrong. I mean, and I'm not even gonna say they got it wrong. Hindsight is 2020. Everybody can see clearly once you see what happened. But I drafted a quarterback with the number 6 pick in the draft. These picks are valuable. I have to play him. I have to give him an opportunity. And I cannot do the Falcons just fire everybody in the building for doing what you're telling Minnesota they should have did. They gave Kirk Cousins a buttload of money, and then they drafted Michael Penix in the top 10, number 8 pick in the draft. Well, guess what? I gotta develop Michael Penix.
And he's somebody I wouldn't have drafted at all because he got a crazy, crazy, crazy injury situation coming from college. I'm
Again,
nah.
that's part of the reason why everybody in the building got fired.
Not the fans, Notty, but if Seattle really believed in him, he would have gotten top 6 money. He where Cousins at.
No,
I think
you get
Captain Kirk got what? 100? Was 100 million his contract for 3
Kevin
years?
Kirk got 100 years. I mean 100 million, which was
Sam got what? 30
which
million?
which Kirk Cousins didn't get. It wasn't like Kirk Cousins got Josh Allen money. Kirk Cousins got fair market value for a starting quarterback. And that's what Sam Darnold got. He got fair market value. He got the same thing Baker Mayfield got. Fair market value for a solid starting quarterback. He didn't get top 10 money because he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Pat Mahomes. He's not in that ilk. So they didn't pay him as such. They paid him for what he is. Sam Darnold is a middle of the pack quarterback. And it just goes to show that if you have a really solid team around a guy who's a solid quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl. You don't matter of fact, most of the time, the top echelon quarterbacks are not the quarterbacks that are winning the Super Bowl. It's these quarterbacks that are on their rookie deals or they're just getting middle of the road money and then they're able to build a defense and a good offense around those guys. These are the teams that are winning Super Bowls.
What's that?
Fair value is 35 million, 35, 40 million a year. That's fair value.
So let me ask you really quickly. For Kyler Murray, would you want to see him as the starting QB, let's say for the Raiders, or you think he should go someplace
No,
and be a
I don't want to see Kyler Murray. Any team that has Kyler Murray as a starting QB is setting themselves up for failure. He's just not that good.
So back up, you're thinking? I think for me, what I see when it comes to Kyler Murray is not necessarily a lack of talent. I see someone who's not motivated. To me, he gives off a little bit lazy. Anytime you got to put in a contract, you have to watch film. That tells me that you're lazy. No one should tell you as a franchise guy that you have to watch film. That should not be in your contract at all. So I see more laziness than I do a silly lack of talent. I think if he really honed in and focused and actually really cared more, maybe, then you would see better from him.
Man, just because a guy can run a 4.3 doesn't mean he's good.
I wasn't talking about like just that.
Not only is he, to your point, lacks motivation, he's not durable. Mm-hmm. He always wanes down the stretches of the season. Mm-hmm. And He's just not that. He's not that guy. And he got this big contract. Like I wouldn't touch Kyler Murray unless they
Hold on,
cut Kyler Murray.
I was waiting for Nasir to come in. Hold on, read this comment.
Shout out to Nasir.
35 is not believing, is it? Cousins' first season in Atlanta, they drafted a QB first round, $40 million a year. Don't sound like believe is all I'm saying. Nasir,
The fact that
the devil is a liar. Kyler is top 5 when
top
healthy.
5 when healthy. Come on. So now you're saying Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Action Jackson.
Who else you want to go? You want to go Matthew Stafford? Do you want to go Jordan Love?
Go Caleb.
No, we're not putting Caleb in there just yet. We can't. 1 year doesn't do it. You got to have more than 1 year.
I can sneak him in there past you. Okay.
No, we're not gonna do that. We
you caught that. Okay.
Yeah, we can go Jordan Love. We can go Justin Herbert. We can go.
Justin Herbert. Stop it.
I'm just saying. I'm just looking at regular season. I'm not looking at the playoffs and all that. Just yet.
Caleb did better this one season than Justin has in all his season. In terms of postseason.
Postseason. I agree. Justin Herbert has not looked good in the postseason at all. I will give you that. But yeah, Brock Purdy. Like, come on, man. Like, no, we're not putting Kyler Murray nowhere up there. I got Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray. Give me Sam Darnold. I take Sam Darnold over Kyler Murray. Give me Aaron Rodgers.
You're gonna stop respecting that man. That man is a Super Bowl winner. All right, we're gonna put some respect.
No, I'm saying I got Sam Darnold over Kyler Murray. Like, don't disrespect that man. Right. But he's saying top 5 though. Like, that's disrespectful. Top 5? Come on, dude.
Well, you know, Nasir's a huge Kyler Murray fan. You know. So.
Yeah, that's his problem.
So should he go back to? I know they say he's really, really good in baseball as well. I didn't know that. Should he go try and should he go to MLB? Switch it up.
I think that would be a great idea because he's still young enough, and he maybe still got the talent. You're just not a good quarterback.
Kyler don't have Baker Mayfield. Oh, well. I saw Tuss look better than Kyler cuz. Wow.
Right, Tua, right. And Tua is better than Kyler Murray.
Speaking of which, we might as well go on ahead since you done brought Tua up. Because Tua's out too. Tua's on the move.
Yes, he's on the move.
If you were GM, would you look at Tua? I think his contract, $99 million, something like that, you know, that you're taking on. I'm not taking it. I'm sorry.
I'm not taking on that contract.
I'm not taking it.
I'm not doing that because
you can't play in cold weather.
Right.
You're injured. Like I'm very limited with you. So, you know, me personally, I couldn't do it. Backup maybe, but it's not giving franchise guy.
Yeah, I can't take on that contract. I can't give him that money. But if Miami cuts him and then we can get him for the cheap, I might bring him in. Honestly, I want Tua to get his money and do something else with his life. You know, start a new career somewhere else. I don't really. Every time I watch him play, I'm kind of on edge. You know, when he's about to get hit.
I don't know. Watch him play. I'm like, oh,
right.
I'm like,
I don't know if
this hit him. Don't hit him. I'm like, I got PTSD. I'm like, no, don't hit him. Don't hit him. Don't hit him.
You know,
like,
right. But Tua is a competitor, and he does want to play. And he's willing to risk it all to go out there and play. So I hope he finds, you know, he can fulfill his dream. But I'm not taking on that contract. That's what I'm not, because if I take on that contract, I have to start him. And I don't necessarily want to start him. I would like him to come in and maybe be a backup. I think Minnesota would be an excellent place for Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do have the weapons and they do have the defense. And if depending on what happens to JJ McCarthy, I think that'll be a better place for them to figure out who he is and what he is. You know, if JJ McCarthy isn't available, then I got Tua. Tua, he's a very accurate passer. And when you got guys like Justin Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson, the running back, like That's what Tua needs. Tua needs to be somewhere where he has a plethora of weapons around him.
My thing is with Tua and JJ, they have that one thing in common. It's health. Like if God forbid, like somebody hit him the wrong way, or he slide, too late, then he's
Oh
out.
yeah, he's done.
And again, don't it get cold in Minnesota? Like he don't
Well,
do
they
too
playing
good
in the
in
they
cold
playing in the
weather.
dome now in Minnesota.
Okay.
So right.
Okay, because I'm just like when it gets cold, it don't work.
But you got to
It
go to
don't work.
Green Bay. You got to go to Green Bay at some point. You got to go to Chicago. It's gonna be cold. You're gonna play in
It
cold
is.
weather when you
You would
playing
think
in
he
the
would have
north.
adjusted. I really feel like Tua needs to go train in Antarctica or something for like a couple of weeks in the off season to prepare for the cold weather in the season. Like I think that would benefit him really, really well. Real talk. Like
Right.
some kind of, I don't know, a cryogenic freezing chamber. Something where he could get acclimated to throwing and running in cold weather, because all these years it still is not working for him. What do you think about Tua and to be like a backup in Dallas if they could ditch the contract?
If they could ditch the contract, yeah, I think Tua will be served well as a backup in a lot of places if they can get him for the cheap. So Dallas will be one of them places. I mean, chances are, unless Dak goes down, which Dak hasn't really shown to be injury prone. He's got hurt a couple times, but for the most part in his career, he's been able to stay healthy. I would like to see Tua just hold the clipboard and not have to get in harm's way.
Yeah.
The only problem,
Quarterback's coach.
right? The only problem is the fans in Dallas are some of the most delusional fans in all of sports, and
Y'all always ragging on the Cowboys fan.
And let Dak have one bad game, or the Cowboys lose 2 games, 3 games in a row. Everybody's gonna be like, put Tua in.
Well, if you have him there, yeah, put him in.
No, I don't want him to play over Dak.
If
He's not better.
Dak is injured, if he's injured, I'm not saying.
Now, if Dak is injured, that's a whole nother thing. But if Dak has just had a couple bad games, I still want to see Dak. I don't, and you will, but I'm saying I don't want fans to be put into it when Dak is there ready to ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dak has only got hurt twice, and both his injuries was injuries that kept him out for the season. But for the most part, you don't see Dak missing a lot of games.
I want to highlight this young man because people were kind of talking about him. I'm like, y'all got to stop making fun of folks before we move on. I'm just going to highlight this young man. I don't know what y'all couldn't. Let me try to make sure. Hopefully, y'all could hear. I don't know why. Make sure I turn the volume up. I don't know. The volume's all the way up, so I don't know. Turn it up some more. So on 100. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Hold on. Oh, all right. Share my screen. I don't know. I have no idea why you guys couldn't hear it. Hopefully you guys can hear it this time. I don't know why. Yeah, this screen audio is not muted. Maybe I'm trying to mute mine and see if that works. And maybe y'all can still hear it.
Yes, sir. The Bills have been in contact. Something that I feel like I will bring to a NFL franchise. A playmaker. A versatile. I can play inside receiver, outside receiver, running back, punt return, kick return. Yes, sir. Again, they like my, competitiveness. They like my versatility. I could play any position on the field. I could throw the ball. I could run the ball. I can catch the ball. Something that they said that something that NFL teams feel like I can improve on is my concentration. This year, I had 7 drops. It's something that I have to work on. I'm gonna work every day to fix it. And once I get that chance, I'm gonna catch every ball. So
What did that year at A&M mean to you?
That year at A&M, it meant everything for me. I had a down year, my sophomore year.
You could hear, right, Notty?
I could. It just went out, but I was
Let's
hearing.
let's pause it. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
making fun of this young man because I don't know if y'all can hear it, but he has a stuttering, a little bit of a
Right.
speech impediment.
Yeah,
So people
yeah.
kind of making fun of him. I'm like, I don't understand why. I just want to shout him out, for being brave to get up there and speak.
Shout out
you
to
know,
him.
and not be afraid or ashamed. Because
Hey,
we all have
man.
things that we want to improve on. But I'm like,
Right.
there's so much we say on what really irritates me and what's really sad is that we have these young men who are taking their lives. And then we say, oh, this is so awful, this is sad, and then we're constantly humiliating people. It's like what we
Look,
doing in this world, man. I mean, I don't know this young man. Thank God that he seems to have a strong, mindset and makeup and foundation. But let's say suppose he didn't. When people see all these mean comments and hear all these mean things, you never know what you're doing to someone and how they're taking it or receiving it. It's like
man.
we go back and forth. One day we feel bad because someone, chose to leave this
Right.
world. Like, hey, call out to your people and someone reach out to your friends. And then on the other hand, we're humiliating people and making fun of them.
Man, I really would just hope that he has a father in his life, and because I mean, he seems like a decent young man. But the truth of the matter is, since I've been a small child, I don't give a damn who you were. If you had a stuttering problem, you were gonna get made fun of. You might have a friend. We had friends that stuttered. Like, we played with them, we liked them. We didn't think nothing less of them, but we made fun of them. I mean, I guess today's time, these people, and especially these kids, are so freaking sensitive to everything. Like, it doesn't matter. Can you ball? Can you go out there and not, like he said, I got to get better from dropping passes. I dropped 7 passes last year. That's too many drops. Can I go and focus and catch the ball? If you go catch the ball, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you a bag. You got a bag, guess what? Even with a stuttering problem, you're going to get to pick whatever woman you want to get. It don't matter. Go ball. Like, you got the truth of the situation. Somebody need to tell them the truth of the situation. And people gonna talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna pick on you. They're gonna make jokes on you when the comedians go to the do they stand up, they hour special. They gonna, especially if you get famous enough, they're gonna talk about you. They're gonna mimic your speech and your stuttering. This is part of what's gonna happen. You gotta have tougher skin in this. And
we have to stop telling people that. You know what I mean? Like that this is just life. You just deal with it and roll your sleeves up and be tough, so to speak. Everybody's not built like that. And we can't keep expecting everybody to be built the same way we're built. Like for me,
I agree.
it wouldn't bother me. Like for you, it wouldn't bother you. But
Right.
This young man, he seems to be okay with it. But you have some other people who are not as mentally strong. Like they can't take the constant teasing. And it's one thing when you're little, but he's grown now. He's an adult. Now, he's an adult teasing him online. We're not talking about kids who don't have enough sense to know better. Like at some point, you got to know better.
I would say this: if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. If this is something that's gonna bother you, don't put yourself in the limelight like that. You don't have to play football. You got a college education. You went to college. You can go do something else with your life where you're not in the spotlight, and you don't have to worry about people getting on social media talking about you because you had a press conference and you stuttered a little bit. You don't even have to worry about it. just go do something else with your life. But if you're gonna play football and you're gonna be in the media, in the lights of the media, then guess what's gonna happen? It's not gonna stop. Ain't nothing you can say all the positive things. People shouldn't do this, and people shouldn't do it. But guess what's gonna happen? People gonna do it. So are you strong enough to absorb that? Then fine, play football. If you're not strong enough to absorb it, and it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna take your life, then don't put yourself in harm's way. Go do something else with your life. Go be an accountant. Go be a carpenter. Go be a pilot. Go do something else where you don't have to face the media every week and subject yourself to ridicule if you can't take it. That's just the truth about it. And that's why I said I hope he has a father, because a father gonna tell him, son, this is just what it is. Go get that bag. Don't worry about all this other stuff, you know. So that's what I would say. I mean, he's gonna deal with it no matter what we say. He's gonna deal with it, you know. And
I mean, he's been dealing with it. That's why I wanted to make sure I shout him out. Personally,
let me say, I like that he put out on social media that he wants to be a role model for other kids who have a stuttering impediment. He wants to show them that it's okay and just to be yourself. I like that. That lets me know that he does have the right mental makeup.
Yeah,
he has embraced it. Right, he has embraced. He understands who he is, and he's comfortable with that, and he understands the layout of the land, and I like him for that. I hope that he does fix his drop problem, and because that's the only problem that I see him having is the problem with dropping the football. If he fixed that, then he's gonna be fine on the next level.
For me, I just look. I don't like, I mean, like I said, it's just me, you know. I'm not a kind of person that's tell people just to deal with stuff. You know what I mean? For those who are adults, who are grown ass people, you should be ashamed, like really and truly. Why do you have so much time on your hands when you're sitting there teasing other adults? Like, you're not a kid anymore. Like, you're a grown woman, you're a grown man, and we have to stop just telling people to, well, if you can't deal with it, then just don't do it. You know, like, why should he or anyone else not be able to live out their dream of NFL, NBA, figure skater, I don't know, track star, whatever it is, you know, because people can't control themselves and be decent. We've gotten into this climate in this world where it's just like supposed to be accepted, just constant negativity and just, oh, well, just deal with the punches and roll with it. If that was the case and everybody could just deal with it, you know, roll with the punches, we wouldn't have people unaliving themselves at such an alarming high rate nowadays. There's so much going on in this world. And I think if we just led with a little bit more kindness and stop saying, oh, well, just deal with it. You know what I mean? Just toughen up, you know, like that's not a justification or an excuse to me to just tell somebody, well, just deal with it. If you can't, oh, well, go sit down. You know, like that's just life. I don't like that.
Man, people, I understand where you're coming from, but this ain't that new. Players getting ridiculed by the media, and now social media is new, fairly new for this generation. So it's expounded upon. It's multiplied. But players have always been ridiculed since I've been watching sports. I mean, and forget sports, going to school. Joning was always something. Ranking, or what you say, play the dozens, whatever you call it. That's something that has always happened. Now, so I would say this, like what you're saying. My whole point is, if it's going to get to a point where you got to go unalive yourself, I prefer you not even participate, because this thing is global. In America alone, you have over 300 million people. Now, we're talking global. We're talking about billions of people. Everybody got social media all over the globe. You can sit here and say, well, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. Okay, some people will be like, you know what, you're right. You know, we need to not pick on these people. But you got 100 million, 200 million people who don't care about that. And they still are consumers of that form of entertainment. The best thing you can do is go out there and ball, ignore, you know, stay off social media if you can't handle it. Don't pay attention to, you know, don't go to no comedy shows ever if you can't handle it. That's just the truth for the matter. Stay out of
You
harm's way.
you can go to a comedy show, just don't sit in the front. and
Right. Don't
that's
sit in the
even if you
front.
don't have a stuttering problem. Just
And I
don't
know
sit in the
some, trust me, I know some people that I wouldn't want to go to a comedy show with because they got
front.
thin skin. I be like, no, stay out. You don't need to go because soon as somebody crack a joke on you, you ready to fight. And then I
There are
got
some
those friends
people
of mine
who
who can go
cross
to the
the
comedy
line.
show with me, and we'll laugh at ourselves because we
Mhm.
getting joked on. So some people just got to stay out of their own way.
Mhm. There's some jokes I see that like kind of push it, and I'm like, whoa, like that was a joke. It was a little bit brutal. Like, whoa, no, like okay,
Yes.
but he took that well. She took that well. But there were some comedians like what's his name? Is it Aries Spears? Aries Spears
Oh yeah,
on
he goes
Instagram.
way too far.
He goes extremely far, like way
Right.
out there. And I'm like,
Yes.
dude, like that's not even funny. It's just
No, here's the
disrespectful at this point.
right.
So I would never go to one of his shows. I know me, so I wouldn't go in the back or the front. But someone like that kind of show is not for me. So I'm like, you're just disrespectful. It's not even funny. At least for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, every comedian is not for everybody. Some
Yeah,
comedians,
that's
might,
true.
be your flavor. And
Hmm.
again, just to your point,
Hmm.
if I know this comedian is not my flavor, is not my cup of tea,
Hmm.
let me not even watch this comedian. It's not gonna do me any good. Just stay out of harm's way. So that's what I would say. I applaud this young man for getting up on the podium and speaking,
Hmm.
even though he has a stuttering issue. But again, I don't really see it as an issue. My only
Hmm.
issue with him is he drops passes, and if he can
Yeah.
correct that, then it doesn't really matter. All that other
Hmm.
stuff, people gonna people gonna be people, man. And then you got a lot of young people on social media too. Even if you get all the people 35 and up to stop talking about you, the people 35 and under, it's a lot of them. So
Hmm.
if it gets to a point where you just can't handle it to where you believe that you might unalive yourself, then I just say don't even. This ain't gonna be for you. Just leave the
I mean,
game.
I would imagine that those who have unallowed themselves have had more than just maybe some bad comments on Instagram. It's been other things that have maybe
Right,
been going on for years, or situations that we don't know about as
right.
well. In their personal lives. Um, but we always, when so much is happening, we sit there. On one hand, you see all the comments that say, "Man, check out on your friends," all these different, and then the next same comments are tearing people down. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. Like, we can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
Like, you got to pick one side of it, man. Are we uplifting people, or are we tearing everybody down and getting a good laugh out of it?
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part. Like, I remember with Chadwick Boseman, before he passed away, and you saw his pictures online, and he was so skinny, and I was like, I thought to myself, like, does he have cancer? Is he okay? But at the time, we didn't know what was going on. I remember
Hmm.
everybody in the comments kind of making fun of him and how he looked. Then obviously when he passed away, they came out that he had cancer. But I was like, oh my god, like, I feel bad. Like, some of the co-stars, were upset because it felt like he was kind of getting the princess treatment, in between, takes and things, in between scenes. But he was sick and he didn't know it. And I remember one of the co-stars saying he felt really bad because he thought he was just too good, for like the rest of the cast. But come to find out, he was actually really sick. So you got to be careful
Right.
when you're judging people and you're saying certain things and you have no idea what they're going through. Then you're like, damn.
Yeah, I really dislike, like, you got a lot of ex football players or current football players, especially like with the Rondell Moore situation.
Mhm.
And they're like, he was going through a lot, and you got people on social media, y'all just don't understand what us athletes be going through, and y'all be criticized.
Mhm.
I'm like, shut the hell up, because y'all acting like we're the ones that the people on social media are the ones that killed this man, the ones that caused him to unalive himself. This man was going through all kinds of things that we have no idea about because it's not publicized. He's not
Mhm.
every day of the week. I'm going through this today and I feel like this, and I'm
Yeah.
going through this today and I feel like. We don't know this. We don't know anything. All we know
Yeah.
is a player went out there, he got injured, or he dropped passes, or
Mhm.
he made the wrong play and he cost his team the game, and we're gonna talk about it being on social media. People on social media aren't causing these athletes to unalive themselves. That's a deeper issue that we have no idea about. So a lot of these athletes sitting there talking about, you guys on social media, you don't know what we be going through. Stop all that crying. You signed up for the game. The game pays you because they understand the level of criticism that you're going to face. You get paid the big bucks so you can deal with this kind of stuff. Take some of that money and go get you a therapist. Go get you a psychiatrist, whatever you need for your mental health and your mental well-being. But don't sit here and blame people at home who use this platform as entertainment to escape some of their mental health issues.
I understand what they're saying because I always say they're human beings. I always say that every time something happens. I'm like, these men are human beings. I think because they're athletes, the first thing we think is, oh, you got $100 contract. You got 2 vacation homes. You retired your mom last year. Like, you just signed an extension for 3 years, 200 plus million. Like, deal with it. Like, if somebody was paying me 200 million, I wouldn't care what you said on my Instagram, my social media. But these people are still human beings. And although you look at the kind of money they're getting paid to throw a football or catch a football or throw a ball inside of a hoop or a net, they're still people. Like, they're not above being sad. They're not above having issues, outside of football. There's layers to it. Obviously, it's not, I don't think it's just someone making fun of you because, you cost them their parlay because you didn't get, extra touchdown, or you missed an extra 5 yards. Their whole parlay is messed up. I think obviously it could be a comment, like it could be layered on, those kind of comments to make whatever was already there worse, like to heighten it. I don't think it's the sole reason. But I feel like we have to stop saying, okay, well, you get paid this crazy amount. Well, you're a franchise guy. They're still people. They might have a crazy bank account, but they still people. There's a lot of people who are rich who are miserable people. Like, that don't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you're right. I heard Dana White today. He was talking to a guy. A guy asked him, give him some advice that'll help him go through life. And he said, if you're miserable while you're broke, then you're gonna be miserable when you got money.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just gotta be happy. You gotta be happy no matter who you are. So just like these players, these athletes, a lot of them take media training in college and things like that, so they can learn how to deal with the media. I think in this day and age, they also need to take some sort of training that's gonna help them deal with the criticism that they're gonna face by being in the limelight. It don't matter if you
psychologist,
right. If you're a rapper, if you're an actor, if you're a athlete, anything where you're gonna be in the limelight and you're gonna be on TV a lot and people gonna get to see you a lot, you're gonna face some level of criticism and ridicule. You can't escape it.
I get what you're saying.
There's nothing you can do about it. The best thing you can do is be mentally prepared for it. And if you can't be mentally prepared for it, stay off of social media. Don't watch the TV. Just go and perfect your craft and work on that and be great. And then you won't have any problems. Stay out of harm's way. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just, there's nothing else I can tell them. Like, this is what comes with the territory.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just I feel like sometimes we kind of use that as an excuse people to justify people's mean, nasty actions. The same way they don't have to, I guess, play football or play basketball. You don't have to be nasty as hell for no reason. Like, you don't have to be nasty. Like, go talk to, I don't know, go talk to yourself in the mirror or something. If you have nothing like nice or just decent to say, But this world we live in is just this next level right now. So, for another conversation. But switching over, you guys, to the NBA. I love basketball, my favorite sport. Right now, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is now participating in 5-on-5. You guys, participating. He's back at practice. The $1 million question is: should he or will he return this season in hopes, I guess, for the playoffs? Do you think that he should come back this season?
If he feels like he's 100%, sure. Come back. You're a basketball player. You play basketball. If you don't feel like you're 100%, your team is doing well, you can hold off. You can just wait. You still got time. But yeah, if he feels like he's 100% and he's ready to go, I like basketball players. I like athletes who are itching to come back. They just can't wait to come back because they just love the game. They just want to play. They want to compete. I don't like that guy who, well, my team is up 14 games. My team is up this many games. I can just lay back and sit back and chill. Even though I'm ready to go medically, I'm medically cleared to go. But my team is doing well. They don't need me right now. But you're not hungry. You don't want to play. You don't love basketball. You don't want to just go hoop just because it's an opportunity to go hoop. You don't want to go play football just because it's an opportunity to play football, regardless if your team is 2-13 or 13-2. You don't want to just be out there competing. Well, that's not the kind of player that I would want on my team. So if Jason Tatum is 100% healthy and he's ready to go and he's itching at the bit, then yeah, let's go play. And I wish him well, and I hope he is 100% because with Jason Tatum, his team increases its odds of winning the championship.
True. For me, I'm gonna say no. For this season, I know that the East is wide open. I know East is wide open. The Pacers are down. They'll be back. The Bucks are trying to figure some stuff out. You got the Hawks, I think, who are going to surprise a lot of people as it gets close to the playoffs and things of that nature. But when it comes to tearing, your Achilles, them injuries, you cannot take that lightly at all. And when he comes back, he's coming right back in the time of playoffs. You know what I mean? People are playing hard. They're going at your leg, going at your calf on purpose, at your injured wrist, finger, whatever it is. Like they're trying to get you out, for the rest of the playoffs, for the rest of the season. So for me, the team is doing fine. Like the team is doing good. I'm sure that he wants to get back out there. I would imagine because he's not used to not playing. So I'm pretty sure the competitor in him is like, man, I really want to get back out there. But I'm just like, I hope that whatever he decides to do, I hope that he's making it with a sound mind, a sound heart. Not from the perspective of the prism of I really missed the game, I got to get back out there. But I really missed the game, I got to get back out there. But is my body 100% ready to withstand what's going to happen in the playoffs? Because sometimes players want to do certain things. You're like, hold on, hold on 1 second there, fella. Sometimes you got to save a player for themselves. But I like that the Celtics are not rushing him. This is going to be 100% his decision, when he feels like he's ready to come back. And then obviously he'll talk to the doctors and things of that nature. I respect that. Like, they're not rushing, like, hurry up. You know what I mean? He needs you back out there. And Jaylen Brown's been holding the fort down, and Peyton Pritchard and Joe Mazzulla's been doing the best that he can do and everything. So, for me, I'm like, dude, I always have to err on the side of caution because how much time it takes to recover from a torn Achilles. Like it's not like a couple of weeks, dare I say 2 or 3 months. You're pretty much out like almost a whole year. I think it's like 9 months since he got injured. So I'm like, oof, be careful, coming back so soon. But we're gonna see what they're gonna do. Do you think that if he came back that they would get to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, again, I still think even with him coming back, the East is wide open. But it increases their odds of going to the Eastern Conference Final and beyond. Look, he's young. The medical treatments is better than everything is advanced and it's better than ever. And I'm pretty sure with his trainers that he's been working with, he's not just gonna be rehabbing and then come and play a game. They're gonna test it out. He's gonna have hard workouts. He's already been doing 5-on-5s. I've been hearing. So he's been going hard. Right. He's already been going hard. Now it's a matter of just putting you in the game. I already know I can cut. I can step back. I can do. I'm already been doing all this. Like I could have tore my Achilles on the road to recovery, on the road to get back. So if it's strong enough and the doctors are telling him it's strong enough, it's 100% and he feels good as well, then I don't see a reason for him to hold back from playing. Go out there and play, man, because that's what you do. You're a ball player. Now, if you have any questions, if there are any question marks in your head whatsoever, then I say pause. Just wait until all that is done. But everything is mental.
I think it's gonna be a question mark anyway because of how serious that injury is. Like, there's a part of you that's gonna be like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you,
Well,
you know, you might feel 100% healthy, but like mentally, you're like, man, I don't want that to happen again.
and that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is to get over that mental hurdle. Because so a man thinketh. Like, if you think that you're gonna go out there and you're gonna get hurt, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get hurt. But if you think that you can go out there and you can contribute and you can be successful and you can maintain your health, then I believe in the power of the mind. I believe then he'll be all right. So I just want him to be 100% confident in his body and his mind before he does it. But if he's 100% confident in his mind and his body, and he follows the guidance of the Most High saying you ready, then go ahead, do your thing, and we'll see how it turns out. But it's better for the NBA if you have Tatum playing than you not having Tatum playing.
My thing also is the team chemistry. It took them a while to kind of find their ebb and flow without him. Throwing back in there around playoff time, they gotta find the ebb and flow again with him. You know, so I'm like, I mean, when it comes to playoffs, you rather have your team gelling at the right time, you know, than kind of go back and then try to, switch lineups and try to make, readjust, at a time like that. Because, the good thing is NBA is the best of 7, not the NFL one and done. So, you have a few games to kind of get it together. But like I said, it's his decision, so he'll make the best one, for him, but if it's me, I'm like, if it's me, he's talking to me, I'm like, don't do it, JT, don't do it.
Like, I definitely agree. I think if he is going to come back, now is the time because of what you just said. You got another month or so before the playoffs start.
Yeah.
And so you got time to build some chemistry, and the coach got time to figure out his rotations and how this team is going to play, as opposed to it being a week or two away from playoff time and you can really throw the team off course. So if he's going to do it, now is the time. Anything after this week or another 2 weeks, then I would say you just wait the next year, because you could possibly, throw off the team's chemistry and what they're already doing.
All right. So moving on. All right, because we spoke about this last week. We're gonna think about it again, because man, people they're coming for the Warriors, man. They're like, what the heck were the Warriors doing? Jonathan Kuminga is out there just whooping ass and taking names, so to speak. He looks fantastic. In the first 3 games, I believe, that he's played as a Hawk, they're undefeated, right? With him,
they're not playing good teams, but
that's what I was saying. Like, the teams that they played, respectfully, have not been.
Portland. I respect Portland. I do respect Portland,
but they have some injuries as well, I believe. They're not their full strength. I'll put it like that.
Right.
I like Kuminga. I've always liked Kuminga, but for me, and this is just the way I think, I always say to myself, what the heck happened behind closed doors that we don't know about? Like, who's going to tell the truth about what we don't know? Because I find that something in this situation to me is just so odd. To my knowledge, I don't know of Steve Kerr ever intentionally just sitting one player out and never letting him play. It seems like it was something with Kuminga directly. And I'm just wondering, was that personal? Did he really feel like, I can't find nothing, no space for you at all on this team? Was it because Kuminga, wanted to be a number one option? That's how he feels about himself. I'm not mad at it. He really feels like he's the kind of player who can get paid, super max money, but it hasn't necessarily shown that just yet. So I'm really wondering where the breakdown was. What do you think it is, or what it was?
The story is gonna come out sooner or later.
It is. I can't wait till it does.
It's gonna be a story to come out. But right now, because the story hasn't come out, then I have to take Steve Kerr at his word. And according to Steve Kerr, he's so hell bent on winning basketball games, he couldn't really find the minutes for Kuminga to come in and figure out how he was gonna be able to contribute to the team, because he's really saying, I don't have time to develop him right now because I still have Steph and Draymond, and these guys are still ready to win right now. So I don't want to develop some of these young guys and intertwine them into what we already got going, which I can kind of understand, but then again, I can't, because your job as a head coach is to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's your job. And if Kuminga turns out to be a guy who, when Steph Curry is gone, when Draymond Green is gone, he's one of the top 15, 20 players in the league, then you did Golden State a disservice.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Steve Kerr won't be there when Curry and Draymond are gone. He'll be gone too. But at the same time, you'll be the left the cupboard bare when that's not what you want to do. You want to leave with guys still able to, with something in the cupboard, so that the next regime can come in and they can get off rolling on the right foot. So that's Steve Kerr. That's what Steve Kerr is saying. I don't know. As to your point, it seems like there's something more going on in that situation. Maybe it was something Kuminga said behind the scene. Maybe he rubbed Steve Kerr the wrong way. Maybe he rubbed some of the other players on that team the wrong way. We don't know. We don't know until they write their story. But all I know is right now the Hawks are very happy with their acquisition, especially since all they had to give up was Porzingis, who can't seem either he doesn't want to play or he just can't get right. The Hawks are so happy to get out Porzingis. You just don't know how happy they were. They're like, man, we can't. This guy don't want to play. We can't get this guy to play in a game. And now Golden State has to deal with that problem. And Kuminga just putting up great numbers and dunking all over people with the left, with the right. Yeah, so
out of all
people
the
at the Hawks game was clapping. Thank you, Warriors.
Like, out of all the people that you could have gotten for Kuminga, you got Kristaps Porzingis, who never really plays. He has some sort of mysterious illness because they had never said what it was. It's been lingering since he was with Boston. Like, real talk. I'm like, out of all the people, you might as well just have called me. Like, you might as well just call me. Real talk.
You that chick.
Like, because at least I'm healthy. I'm available. Like, I don't. Then you have Seth. Don't get me started. Oh my God, Seth Curry played in one game. I have not seen Seth since. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, why did we get him? Why do we still have him if he cannot play at all?
That's still
is the plan. Just I don't care. I don't care. Like, it was the plan to gonna surprise all the fans and pop out, around playing time, with Kristaps and with Seth and with everybody else, because I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why would you get Kristaps when he has that illness that he is still lingering on? I don't know what kind of illness it is, but he can't play with it, obviously. So why did you get him? It makes no sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. When it comes to Kuminga, like, I don't know if Steve Kerr is the one directly working one-on-one with the players or some of the assistant coaches, or it's a whole combination of people. I'm not sure how involved Steve Kerr is in the development process with the the new players that are coming in. I watched Will Richard, the rookie, came right in. He's been in starting lineup several times. Actually, a very good player. You know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of growth to happen, but all in all, young talent. You know what I mean? He came right in and just fit in seamlessly. You know what I mean? Moses and Kuminga came in the same time. They got drafted the same year. I watched Moses sit out for I don't know how long on that bench and barely get any playing. And now I call him Big Mo. Now you see Big Mo out there doing big things at times, knocking down key threes and everything else. I see Quentin Post, second year, pods. And y'all, I said there will be no pods slander on this podcast. I am a fan of Brandon Pajemski. I don't care what y'all say. Yeah, I think he is very talented.
I mean, he's
but even though my point is, I see growth, I see development. For some reason, it seems like I don't know, something was lost or stopped or something when it came to Kuminga. I'm just like, I see everybody else growing, some faster than others. Yes, even Guy Santos, I see his growth. You know what I mean this season. I'm like what the heck happened with Kuminga last season before Jimmy got there? it was Steph and Kuminga. Steph was like right next. Kuminga was like right after Steph in terms of like leading the Warriors in terms of scoring, and then Jimmy comes and they just kind of toss Kuminga to the side. I guess because Jimmy's the more experienced player or whatever have you. Okay, this season, Jimmy got hurt. I'm like, you gonna pick Kuminga in? He came in maybe once, twice. The season started off with Kuminga in the starting lineup. He was getting more minutes
Right.
than season started, and he was playing fairly well. And then he gets injured. I'm like, oh, not again, Kuminga. He was playing, and then after he's no longer injured, he's no longer playing. I'm like, what happened? Like he has these moments where he could play and it was good, other moments where he couldn't play and it wasn't good. I don't know. I can't wait for the story to come out. I'll say that much. 'Cause I'm dying to know.
Yeah. I think Kuminga, his style of play doesn't necessarily fit Golden State. He's more of an athletic player, slasher, can get to the rim. Good defender too, because of his athletic ability. He got long
Great
arms.
plays, yeah.
Right. He can do a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not really how the Warriors play. That's why I think the Warriors, even though I think you're right, they could have got more for Kuminga than Porzingis, but Porzingis was a huge gamble. If they could have got Porzingis to the point where he was healthy and he can actually play, Porzingis fits into what Steve Kerr is trying to do with that team, because when you got Draymond pretty much playing the 5 at his size, then you can allow a guy like Porzingis who's 7 feet to
Mm-hmm.
shoot the 3, because that's what he wants to do anyway, shoot threes. But Porzingis can post you up if he get the mismatch. He can post up guys. He he has a very well-rounded game. It's just that he's hurt all the time, and your best ability is availability, and Porzingis is never available. So they pretty much gave Kuminga away.
Uh-oh. Look, I pressed something. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Oh, okay, there it is. We gonna see though. I look forward to coming out. I'm gonna play this clip real quick because some folks, like I said, we pick and choose, man. Folks is mad at Adam Silver. I'm like, y'all gotta pick one. Y'all gotta pick one. Like 1 minute we mad at the man for not doing enough. Next minute he doing too much. I'm like, y'all never satisfied in this world. What's going on? Like, what's really going on? What's really happening? I'll mute myself so hopefully y'all can hear this.
I put out a statement about it. I didn't agree with it. There was a league lawyer that was doing the interview that kind of unilaterally decided that Aaron Nesmith, who had been injured the night before and couldn't hold the ball, should have played in the game, which just seems ridiculous. And during the interview process, I was not on it, but I heard details. We asked them if they wanted to talk to the doctors, our doctors, about it, because it's something that was documented by our doctors and trainers. They said no, they didn't need to. They talked to their doctors, who did not examine Aaron Nesmith. And we asked them if they wanted to talk to the kid, and they said no, they didn't need to. So this was shocking. This was shocking to me. And during the interview, they also asked if we'd considered medicating him to play in a game when we were 30 games under 500. So I was very surprised. Obviously didn't agree with it. This is really the first time I've gone into any detail about it, but that was the deal. And so, yeah, that was it.
Hold on, I was muted. Let me take this first. Leave Adam Silver alone. All right? Like, leave that man alone. Leave him the hell alone. We have to stop going back and forth. People kept saying, you got to do something about load management, about teams tanking on purpose, people faking injuries and sitting on the sideline. So now he's like, you know what? Your man is injured. Show me the proof. Show me the proof. Did the doctors invest? No. Did the doctors do the due diligence? Do you have actual report? Like, he want to see the proof now. And like, man, he's doing too much. Like, Adam, what you doing? What y'all want the man to do? Do you want to see your players out there playing, or you want them tanking so they can get high draft picks? And like, we got to pick one, man. The man's trying to do the best he can to please the fans. Like, we tying his arm. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think Adam Silver is doing the best he can. I think the landscape of the league has changed tremendously since he's taken over as the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
See, we came up with David Stern. David Stern was like a pit bull. David Stern wasn't having anything. But David Stern faced a lot of criticism. People said David Stern was too strict. David Stern blocked the trade that would have sent Chris Paul to the Lakers, that would have had Chris Paul, Kobe, and Dwight Howard on the same team in their prime. He blocked that trade for good reason. He did, but people criticized him for that. People are never satisfied. They're never satisfied. Do you have I don't like tanking because. And the league shouldn't like taking in either, because people already, well, we kind of know, but the game is rigged. And if you try to have some sort of integrity on the game, you gotta make it look like it's not rigged. How can you sit here and have teams throwing games and say that it's not rigged? It doesn't go hand in hand. So if you want to protect the shield and protect the integrity of the game, you have to make it stop looking so obvious that teams are throwing games on purpose. That's the very definition of this thing is rigged. So, yeah, I think they're going to have to do something with the way they allocate draft picks during the draft. And once they figure that out, I thought he did a great job by adding a play-in, because now teams know if we get to the 9th or 10th seed, if we can just get to one of those seeds, we have an opportunity to make the playoffs.
You get in, you can win.
You get in, you can win, and all you gotta do is get hot at the right time.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta do. But you got so many teams out here just throwing games. You got so many players, this low management. These trainers are saying he should sit out this game of a back-to-back because we're trying to extend his career. You just got too much. People at home like myself, when we watch sports entertainment, I want to see the best player. This is one reason why I had no problem with HGH being involved in baseball. I thought HGH was a great thing for baseball. Because what it did, it helped the players recover. And so what I would ideally like to see, as somebody who watched sports, I would like to see the best players play every game, and I want them to feel their best every game. I don't want a guy to play 5 games in a row, and then on the 6th day, he's a little bit of fatigue, so he can't give you his best. I want to see guys be at their best at all times. So I was cool with HGH. But now you got players who they can't play a back-to-back, or if they got 3 games in 5 nights, they're gonna miss a game, or they're gonna miss 2 of those games. I just don't like that. Now we gotta watch the 9th, 10th, 11th guy on the bench get more minutes than he should. And
shout out to those young men who have still made it.
Shout out to
one
them.
opportunity.
That's not what we're paying to see, unfortunately. Definitely not.
There's some dominant erupts on the bench.
Definitely not if it's both teams missing their best. I've turned NBA games this year where I tuned in to watch the game, and the top 5 players in the game for both teams are not playing. So now I'm watching a glorified G League game. I can't watch a glorified G League game. That's not what I signed up for. I'm turning the channel. I'm doing something different with my life. And so Adam Silver has a tough job to do. He has to fix a problem that is a new age problem.
Mm-hmm.
And how he figures this out is going to be what his legacy is going to be.
As the commissioner, you work for the owners. So
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if he starts to keep finding these owners, and he's like, "Well, send me the proof. You know, did you try to medicate them? Did you talk to the doctor? Did you talk to this doctor? Talk to that doctor?" If at some point they're gonna be like, "Dude, remember who you work for? Like, you're doing too much. Okay, we want our players to be healthy for playoffs. We got this. Like, have a seat." You know, it's really, like you said, really a tough position for him to be in, to try to make the fans happy, to uphold some sort of integrity of the game. And then obviously you work for the owners, you know, and they have, their doctors coming in and all these different tests and things. Well, he shouldn't play tonight, we shouldn't play tomorrow, or she should take the next 2 games off, you know. So trying to walk that fine line and find a balance is really, really tough. But I do respect him at least trying, because it's gotten out of control. It really, really has. So something got to be done.
It's gotten way out of control. I don't understand how, with all this medical technology and these new
all these
trainers,
injuries too, right?
Yeah. Before you had all this new stuff, players weren't getting hurt like that. They were playing 82 games. Now players is talking about, man, we shouldn't be even playing 82 games. Maybe we should play.
Yeah, should it? You think it should be a shorter
games.
season? Like
No,
go to 60?
it's 82 games. MJ played all 82. Kobe all 82.
But like I told you, like I said to you, I always say to you, this new generation of athletes that is not the same as the old generation.
Yeah, these guys.
The old generation was okay with playing 82 games, 90 if they had to, not load managing. But the mentality is very different. They get paid a lot more. They have a lot more incentives, a lot more perks and things, and they take full advantage of it. At this point, I'm like, if you're not going to play, you know, more times than not, then we should cut the season, because you got fans paying for tickets, and you got you on the sideline sitting there laughing in your sweatsuit, and you're perfectly healthy. So if you don't want to play because there's too many games, then cut it back and cut your payback.
Well, you know, I think these players should train the way that players used to train. They should train to play 82 games instead of training to play 60 games. Also,
and then a full playoff season as well, because that's different.
Right.
Regular season, postseason.
Right. I also think that teams have a you know, this is why Luka got traded, and I had no problem with Luka getting traded from Dallas. I know a lot of people.
I didn't mind it either.
Shocked, but before I pay this guy $350 million, let me cut my losses. That's what these owners are gonna have to do. They're gonna have to say, I don't want to pay this guy this much money, knowing that he's gonna sit out X amount of games. He's not gonna be in the greatest shape that he could be in. Like, no, I'm not paying this guy that premium. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my losses, and I'd rather build a team, a really good team, than just have one player making 30-40% of the salary cap, and then I gotta put a bunch of junk behind him, or I gotta risk going into the luxury tax to keep him in. When I go into luxury tax, now I'm starting to lose money. I'm not making money. And these owners are in the business to make money at the end of the day, not win championships. Championships are for the fans.
Where we at? Speaking of which, this really offended me. I'm like, are we serious? Are we serious? Or like a serious? You want to raise the prices? You want to raise the prices for what? Because you have Luka? Like, what am I paying extra money for just for Luka? The bench is non-existent. I'm like, with all respect to Bronny, you want me to pay? Let me pull this article up. No, make a little bit bigger. Can you guys see it? You can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me scroll on down. All right, so we're talking about online basketball personality Rob Perez detailed what will cost him with the post on X on Friday, writing that there will be a 14% increase on the cost of seats in his section, and the team will tack on an additional 3% administrative fee if the invoice is not paid in full at the start. Another longtime Lakers season ticket holder with seats in the 300 level contacted ESPN and showed documentation of an even more exorbitant price increase to keep his tickets. The season ticket holder in the 300 level had the price for his seat jump from $6,192 in 2025-2026 to $9,034 for 2026-2027. The price, what? And then again, 2 years ago, the price was just $5,494. So that is a 45.9% hike going into next season compared with a 12.7 hike in the last renewal cycle. Unacceptable and completely crazy. Because I've seen, I don't know how many games where I saw LeBron sitting out, Luka sitting out, and Austin Reeves sitting out. Why am I paying a 14% increase, 45.9, 300 level at that, and I can't really see who's playing because I'm that high up, and they're on the bench sitting there watching and laughing, cheering the players on from the sideline.
Man, that thing. What's really bad about this is they're saying they're gonna do this price hike for the 2026-27 season, which is next season.
Mm-hmm.
There's not gonna be any LeBron. It's not like you're gonna get to see LeBron on his farewell tour. Now, if this was LeBron last year in the league and he was with the Lakers and they let everybody know this is his farewell tour, then I would say, okay, I understand why they raising the ticket prices. LeBron is probably not even gonna be with the Lakers next year. So now you're gonna have Luka, Austin Reeves, and whoever they can convince to be around them. Now, you go get Giannis or somebody like that, then okay, I get it. But chances are that's not going to happen. And so
DeAndre Ayton.
Right. So if you're not putting out a team that can legitimately or are the favorite to win a championship next year, how can you justify raising ticket prices? But the Lakers are under new ownership. Maybe the ownership.
I think that's what it is. He's like,
right,
look, I want that ROI, that return on investment.
Right. He spent so much money in buying the team that he said, shoot, I got to try to get some of this back in my pocket. I need it sooner than later. So this is what we're going to do. Because
heavy on the sooner than later.
Right. Because the Lakers, especially considering since they got Luka, chances are they're going to sell out. For the most part, they're going to sell out. I know there's a lot of things going on in LA. You can choose to do a lot of things. But if they can bring in another piece and you have Luka and you'll probably have Austin Reeves, then maybe they can put a good enough team out on the floor where they're competitive enough where the people are going to come regardless of if it's a price hike or not. But I'm saying, I just don't see them being as good as they are next year as they are this year, especially considering you're going to lose LeBron James after this season.
I mean, I thought LeBron might do his farewell tour there next year. But then people saying he might go back to Cleveland, which I think could be pretty cool too, kind of, in where it all began. But I think that's also, I don't know him, but I'm thinking that his decision might be also where Bronny can play as well. I think he would want to have that last season, alongside his son, before, he retires. Could be wrong. We're going to see what's going to happen though. But I'm like, either way, this is a very steep increase. You know what I mean? We're not just talking about a couple hundred, even 1,000. There's a couple thousand here that you're going up. And for the 300 level, I could even really see the players without looking on the big screen. Oh, there's Luka. He came out the tunnel. And you want to pay extra that percentage hike is crazy. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, people got to make tough decisions.
They need to, because eggs cost $15. So I'm like, nah.
Right. Do you want to go to the Laker game or do you not want to go to the Laker game? I mean,
look, I can watch it at home just fine.
Right.
On my Fire Stick, especially when the player's not playing. So
exactly. That's why it's so important that these players play. You're talking about teams hiking prices. Well, if you hike the price, I at least gotta see Luka. I need to see my best players out there performing.
And not wanting to the rest the whole time, please.
And these sound like season ticket holders. So once you buy those season tickets,
you're stuck with it.
Right. Yeah. So Nah, I just think it's foul, but I still think it's going to work out for the owners because I think people are going to continue to go to the games, and they just
And
going to pay
that's
whatever they have to
yeah.
pay.
And that's the thing. Their new owner is not hurting for money at all. I mean, we see what he pays the Dodgers, man. Homeboy got money. He got a lot of monions. Okay,
Right. Well, you know,
he's not hurting.
well,
But
you
I
know, he
mean,
got to
they
fund that
won.
Dodger team. That Dodger
They won
team,
back to back. But
right? Baseball don't have a salary cap, and so
and they
the
need to
Dodgers,
because some teams is like just way out above the rest, and it's
the
like not even fair.
Dodgers, the Dodgers are paying more than anybody. So maybe that's this thing. If he want to keep winning them baseball World Series, he need to raise the tickets up in LA basketball 14% so he can pay Shohei Ohtani and all them other guys that they got because
Yeah,
man,
raise those prices. They winning. Raise them
right,
prices.
right.
Like, come on, man. Don't raise my season ticket from in the 300 level. Like, what we doing? I already got to pay for popcorn, hot dog, nachos,
Oh,
and that's gonna be like
you
50
gotta get a
bucks
jersey,
for
parking.
me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I
Oh
forgot about
yeah.
the parking. Yep,
Oh yeah,
forgot
I
about
mean, yeah,
parking.
taking a family of four to a basketball game is gonna run you close to somewhere between $600 and $1,000.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. For
That's just
300
for
level at
one
that.
game. That's just for one game,
Yeah,
right?
my Warriors are winning right now. We gonna see what's gonna happen. They're playing the Clippers right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so we'll see what happens. Don't say nothing crazy. All right.
yeah. Don't.
Let me just enjoy, the beginning of the game, and we'll see
Yeah, I
what
mean,
happens. Because
hey,
we still beat the Nuggets with a healthy Joker. So
yeah, yeah,
all hope is not lost. And without Steph,
yeah. The one door is closed,
you know
but
what? Good night. Good night.
that's just the truth of the matter. I don't know why
There's no truth of the
you
matter.
want to embrace.
There's no truth of the matter.
You
Okay.
know, you wouldn't bet any dollar amount in the world that the Golden State Warriors are gonna win an NBA championship this year.
No, definitely not this year. No, because I'm not even
Not
sure what they're
what
doing
you
with
mean,
Steph.
not this year.
No,
Not
no,
next year
seriously.
either.
Look, every season's different. You never know. If you got Steph, Draymond, he's been coming out the lineup, to close it up. He's been letting the younger players play. They have been showing a lot of fight. I know this young little core. No, I would give them that much. But we know that Steph is the whole solar system there. Like the sun, the moon,
Steph is
all
gonna
the
be a year
stars.
older.
But he can still shoot though.
Yeah, he
He's
can
he's
shoot,
not
but he
he's not
can't be
he's not gonna be
can't
he's
stay
not gonna be
healthy.
Ant-Man. He's not gonna be Duncan.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy. That's the problem. Steph,
I
this is
bet
not
he
a young
can because
Steph.
they keep using him crazy. Like he need like come on, hello, get that man some help, some proper adequate help. You can't run him into the ground as he's getting older. I mean, that's just common sense now.
No, you can't. But when the playoff time comes, guess what happens? I need Steph to play as many minutes as possible because he's our only chance of really winning. And unfortunately, he just can't play that many minutes anymore. He's 37, he's finna be 38 years old. I know what we seeing what Brian doing, and we're like, man, if Brian can do it, Steph can. No, Brian can do
Well,
it.
they're two different players though. Like they don't
Right.
play the
So
same
though I'm
style
saying
of
Steph is an
basketball. Okay.
old man. When you talking basketball age, Steph is old. Like when I
What you
like to
call
watch
it?
Steph. I like to watch Steph play because just like I told you about LeBron, I understand that Steph is the closest to the end in the beginning. I want to be able to celebrate what he was able to do and what he contributed to the league. Like I cherish these last few moments that we're gonna get to watch Steph. But I'm not
Mhm.
finna sit here and act like Steph is about to lead a team to another championship. It's just highly improbable because he's still the best player on the team and he's about to be 38 years old and he just can't play. You can't play him the way he could play 10 years ago. You just can't. He can't play the minutes. He can't play the games. And so that's the problem with Golden State.
I think a lot of it also is that they don't have the same like adequate help around him. You don't have Clay. You
Right.
don't have you have Draymond, but he's not who he used to be. He's gotten older. So I think if you put some more dependable pieces around Steph, it will be a little bit different. But at this point, you can't expect him to do everything night in and night out for 82 games or at least 72 games, and then a whole
Right.
entire playoff run to an NBA Finals and dare I say a championship. Like that's even if he was Ant-Man, that's too much for one player. You got to have other dependable people, other players. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
It's not golf. You know what I mean?
And unfortunately, they didn't hit in the draft. So it's like when they had the number 2 pick that one year and they drafted Wiseman and he flaked out. Like that year was a year where you had to get.
Where's he at? What happened to Wiseman?
They probably should have got LaMelo Ball or somebody. You got to get another guy. You didn't get another guy. Wiseman, I don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
I don't
No,
even think he's in the
yeah.
league. I mean,
That's
he was on
crazy.
somebody's roster earlier this year, but
Damn.
no, he just didn't pan out. And that was the draft that they missed out on.
Yeah.
You had to get a guy who was going to be able to be another star player for when Steph got to this point. And then Steph could pass the torch to him. But that didn't happen. So, yeah, they missed out on some draft picks and some of these other guys, like you said, Moody and and some of these guys, they're solid, but
Yeah, I mean,
they're
they're not
they're not
superstars.
Klay Thompson. They're not even Harrison Barnes to me. So
Oh, you Harrison Barnes, what, back in the day, or Harrison
yes, I'm
Barnes right
talking
now?
about Harrison Barnes back in the day. Harrison Barnes is a very good player.
Okay. I will say I'm not sure how Mike Dunleavy still has a job. He's done absolutely nothing as a GM. I don't know what on earth would make him get Kristaps Porzingis when he cannot stay healthy.
Well,
He
he
wasn't
got you
healthy
Jimmy Butler last year.
Again, I'm not sure how this man still has a job. Okay, like you got Seth, to kind of woo Steph into playing a little bit long. Maybe that was the deal.
Right.
It's like we keep getting out of all the players that are available in the draft. Cam Thomas was out there. I'm like, why would you go and get Kristaps, who was, he hasn't been healthy in I don't know how many seasons. Like, why would you get him out of all people when he has this mysterious illness that he can't seem to heal from? Like, is it curable? Like what is it? Like at this point, I'm really concerned because I'm just like, maybe he should retire if he can never be healthy again to play.
Yeah.
But to take him on and pay him to pretty much sit on the sideline, I think he played in one game, like Seth Curry. I'm like, what's going on with Seth? Like what does he have? Like was it like he had like I don't know, surgery on his shoulder? Like what's going on? Like was it sciatica? Like Al Horford's out there playing more than Seth Curry,
Right.
and Al Horford's a lot older. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are we doing? Why don't we get all these older players? Respectfully, because I'm not trying to shit on the guys for getting older. But I'm just like, there's a lot of young talent. If you actually look at these benches, and there's a lot of talent in there.
Yeah,
Rob
it is.
Dillingham, somebody Minnesota got rid of. I think he can shoot. He's talented. The Warriors don't need more guards though. But they need some more size, if anything, more athleticism, if you ask me. But I'm just like, what are you doing when you decide to make these trades and in the off season and whatnot in the season? Like, where does your mind go? Because these choices that you're making just makes no sense to me at all.
They don't really make sense, but I think Steve Kerr, he just prefers veteran players over young players. He's in a win now type mentality, and sometimes young players, they're not ready. You have to develop them. And again, that's your job as the head coach and the coaching staff is to develop the young players to get them to a point where they are ready. Because let's be honest, you've had time to develop these players now. You haven't won a championship in years. These
2021, 2022?
Right. These years where you haven't won a championship, you could have been developing players and getting them ready to be on this stage now.
I mean, everyone that we saw but Kuminga was development. If we're being honest, looking at Kuminga play, there was development from him as well. Like it didn't fit in with the Warriors, whatever the reason was, but he definitely is not who he was when he first got drafted. So we definitely see, improvement in his game, and he just came from the Warriors. So something was going on.
But my point is to what you just said. They don't have the pieces around Steph.
They don't.
I mean, okay, you might develop some guys that they're solid, but you don't have. You've been having drafts, and you haven't developed anybody who can replace Clay yet. You haven't. You're just not replacing the pieces that you had when you were winning championships.
I
And
don't think
so,
he's as a good GM. I think they haven't had a good GM since Bob Myers. I mean, like some people are just really good at their job. They manage to do their research, or they have an eye just for talent, or whatever. Some people have, some people don't.
well, I think I mean it's easy to say because the proof is in the pudding that you haven't won. But when he got Jimmy Butler last year, the team got better. And they were playing very well in the playoffs until Steph got hurt. And then it went all downhill after that. Jimmy Butler didn't want to shoot as much as he should have. And the team ended up getting bumped out in the playoffs. But when they had Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, and everybody, they were rolling. They were looking really good. People were really like Golden State can mess around and make another run. So sometimes it comes down to injuries. Steph got hurt, and then it was all over with. So
But again,
I don't know.
as a GM, you know that that's a possibility. Like that you obviously don't want Steph to be hurt, especially in the playoffs. Because of who Steph is. You know what I mean? But that's a real possibility. He's
Yes.
older. Jimmy's also older.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond is like your best defensive player. He's older. Al Horford is there now. He's older. So it's like you know that injury, even with the younger players, you know that injury is a real possibility. So how about you get somebody else there that can step in and at least I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't want. He's not. They're not gonna be Steph. You know what I mean?
No, it's not gonna be Steph.
But at least be able to hold the fort down more times than not. What should I say?
That's easier said than done. I mean, it just don't work like that.
It's been a few years since he's been a GM.
I'm saying any team.
Any
team. Let's look at the Nuggets last year. I think the Nuggets were really the best team in basketball last year. But guess what? Game 7 against OKC, Aaron Gordon pulled a hamstring.
Everybody was hurt. MPJ had one shoulder.
Right.
There was a lot of
and Jamal Murray was sick, and but he played. But if you take any team in the league and they're in the playoff, making a playoff run, and you take their best. Right, you take their best player off the team. You saw what happened with Boston. They lost Jason Tatum with the Achilles against the Knicks. It was over with.
It was over before that. They were not winning. They were not winning.
They probably wouldn't, but they were the defending champions. One thing Rudy Tomjanovich said: never underestimate the heart of a champion. I saw Houston go down one year when they won their back-to-back, and people were like it's over with, and then they end up winning the whole championship. Like because they were champions, they know how to come out of a hole,
But they weren't though. Not against the Knicks.
They might have wasn't. But my whole point is, if you take any playoff team and you take their best player off that team, they don't have another guy who's gonna come in there and hold down the fort. It's just over with. If once you lose your number one, you're done. You're not winning the championship.
Well, the thing is, for Steph, he wasn't out for the rest of the season. They just needed I think they needed Steph. They needed someone just to win. I think 3 more games, something like that. I think one more. They had to win one more game.
It was old.
I think before Steph came back. If you have a team and they can't even win 2 games without your star player, that's a problem. Now I'm not saying they're going to go win a whole championship without him, but if we can't win at least 2 games with our backup point guard, we have a problem here. Like real talk.
In the playoffs, you're not playing scrub teams. You're playing the best of the best teams.
Of course not. No, I'm not saying that.
And if they got all their horses and you're missing your top horse, chances are you might not win another game. That's just how good the league is. The league, you don't get to play Toronto the next night to see if you can get a win. No, you playing Minnesota. If Minnesota got Ant-Man and all their players and you lose Steph, you're not winning another game. If you play OKC and Steph gone, but they still got SGA and Jalen Williams, you're not winning another game. That's just how it goes. You don't get to play the Pelicans for one game.
I don't buy into the Thunder hype like everybody else. The Thunder are very much beatable. Everybody said the Pacers couldn't do it. They were going to get swept and all these different things. They went to Game 7 series. And honestly speaking, I wonder how it would have actually ended if Tyrese Halliburton hadn't got hurt.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Halliburton got hurt and it was over.
So,
That's what I'm
but
saying. Teams
my
are
point
too
is, everybody
good.
was saying that they weren't even. They were saying they weren't even good enough to get to that point. You know, I was like, no, like they're more than capable of winning and beating the Thunder.
Oh
Most
yeah,
people
because
were
they
like,
were
no,
deep.
this OKC is the best team. They have the best record. It's not going to happen. Tyrese Halliburton sucks or whatever it is. And though, like it wasn't what everybody thought it was. But
No,
I'm
I
just saying.
thought Denver had the best team. And if Aaron Gordon
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean,
get hurt,
before they got
I
hurt,
think
yeah.
I think Denver wins the whole championship. I thought Denver was the best team in the league. But with the Indiana, and I remember going into the series, I was telling everybody this is a very even matchup because Indiana was just as deep as OKC. And at the end of the day, it came down to Indiana lost their best player. And when you lost Halliburton, there's not another player on the team that can hold it down for you. It's not going to happen because the other team is too good.
It was also mentally to me that they kind of like just kind of I think checked out after seeing him go down because TJ McConnell is more than capable of coming in and still giving you assists, buckets. I mean, their bench is deep. You can go down, you know, Neesmith, Nembhard, at the time, you know, so Obi, you know, all those different positions. You know, I'm just saying they TJ McConnell was playing really, really well, you know, in those previous games. But I feel like when Tyrese got hurt, even for me watching the game, it just like sucked all the life out of the game. I was like, oh man.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing that happens when you lose your best player. Mentally, you lose something. It like sucks all the air out of you.
So yeah.
And I think that played a part in the Golden State when they lost Steph. I'm pretty sure some of those players like we don't got a shot. Like we just lost. We just lost probably one of the best players in the history of the game. Like we lost a guy who can really change the game. I mean, Steph is one of the few guys in the league that in a matter of like a snap, you can go from a 6-point deficit to now you up 10.
But the difference between what happened with Tyrese and Steph is that Steph was able to come back. You know what I mean? After a few games, Tyrese was done for like
he was done
next year and whatever have you. You know what I mean? He's crying and everything. So you know, it was hard. It made me cry. I was on live crying, so I was like, oh my god, not my guy. I'm a huge Tyrese Halliburton fan. I felt so bad watching him. You know, I really felt so bad. I was like, damn, are we really in the game 7? Like, this is stuff dreams are made of. And the way it worked out, I just felt so bad for him. I felt bad for JT too when he went down. I never seen JT like that. You know, he's always like, you know, very like tough. You know what I mean? He don't really complain about nothing. But I could tell he was in a lot of pain. I said, oh, he's done for the season. I'm like, there's no way he's coming back. Like his season's done. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think Dame is the only one that kind of took it the best. Dame was sitting there like, damn, really? You know, but he seemed like he was okay. You know, everybody else like really just like out of it. But yeah, like I said, you know, I don't know what they're gonna do then because Steph is he's still very well conditioned. You know, he's still in great shape for his age. He can still shoot, you know, lights out the ball out the arena. And if you really don't have a team strong enough to win 2 games for him to come back, you really got to figure something out because injuries are part of this game.
Right.
There's no way around.
Well, the thought process was that Jimmy Butler. That's why they brought Jimmy Butler in. That was the thought process. But then Jimmy Butler, for some reason, decided he didn't want to be that guy, and he stopped shooting the ball.
I don't know what happened. I was like, we've seen you do more in Miami with less. Like, what happened, Jimmy?
Exactly. So I mean, I think they had the right idea. We're gonna bring Jimmy in. Something happened to Steph. We still got Jimmy. Then Jimmy was like, nah, you don't got me. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And now Jimmy's gone. And now you still got agent Steph and Draymond, and he's getting up there too. It's just, you know, Golden State is still, I think they're a great nostalgia act. Like, we still like to see them because they still remind us of the great Warrior teams that we came up seeing. But I don't think nobody really believes that they got a shot to win a title. Like,
well,
those
especially
days,
now that Steph is not playing. No.
Right.
You got to have Steph out there before anything. I mean, I like what I'm seeing from the young core in terms of them fighting and their development. You know, but obviously, like they need their leader. That's just the reality of it. And I will say, I don't know. Steph got reevaluated, I think, Saturday. And he's going to be out for at least 10 more games, something like that. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what y'all doing. If he's going to be out too many more games, you might as well just go ahead and wrap it up. Because
Yeah.
it'll be too far for him to come back and make the play-in.
Yeah, I hope next year is his last year. I don't.
Not me. If they can put some
Yeah.
decent, some more pieces around him, don't retire unless he wants to retire. He's like, I'm done.
I mean,
okay.
yeah. I mean, play as long as you want to
but-
play, but I would like to see. And I hope. Well, I just hope that next year, he's able to have a great season and he gets to do a farewell tour. And he's.
Why don't we look for Russell? I'm sorry, I just thought about that. Like Russell Westbrook is out there playing his heart out for no reason in Sacramento. Like why didn't we get him? Why didn't we send him to Kuminga to the Kings? They had an interest in him. Send him to the Kings. Like what's going on?
Man, I don't know. They wanted Porzingis and the Hawks had him.
So I'm just like, why? Like he's not even healthy. Like you got Russ there in Sacramento, ain't that far away. You just out there playing, for no reason.
There are a lot of pieces in Sacramento that they could have had. There are a lot of pieces in Sacramento. Sacramento is a team full of individuals that probably could thrive on somebody else's team, but together they trash.
Russell played hard. I mean, he's a little bit older, but he played hard. He gonna buy in. He gonna commit. I'm like, come on, we could have used him. Anybody but at this point, Chris.
Yeah, Russ has played well this year too. Russ has played well.
It's wasting his time.
I think Russ got one more year in him too, and I love Russ, but I hope that next year is his last year. I hope he just, he can go to a team and he can make one more run at it. But Russ capable of playing for another 2 or 3 years. I mean, he's in great shape and he doesn't miss a lot of games. And he plays hard every game. He plays hard every game. His situation is a little bit different than Steph, but it's still I don't like. I just hate seeing Russ in this predicament. Russ has never been on a team this bad before, and it just hurts my heart to see him play with a team that's pathetic as the Sacramento Kings. Russ deserves better.
I want to ask you before you get out of here. Is Doug Christie? I like Doug Christie because I like his wife.
No, I don't like him.
I think it's time to go.
I don't like his wife either.
I think it's time to go.
It's been time to go. He shouldn't even been the head coach in the first. And I knew it. I'm not second guessing this. When they decided to make Doug Christie head coach, I said this is the worst thing the Sacramento Kings could have done.
Well, that and I mean, giving up De'Aaron, I don't care if you want to leave or not. I'm not trading you unless I'm going to get something that I really feel is going to work for this team. You fired the coach because supposedly he didn't get along with De'Aaron Fox or whatever was going on with that. So you fired the coach, even though the coach was like the best thing that happened in a while. And then you get rid of De'Aaron Fox on top of the coach. And then you send him in the same conference with Wemby, out of all places. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do that? Like, no, if anything, I'm going to send you to the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to send you where you want to go, like, because you want to go there. This is a business. I'm not doing you no favors, respectfully. I'll send you to a good team in the East, but not here in the West. Damn sure not Wemby. That's for sure. So I'm like, if you fired the coach, I'm like, Sabonis has been hurt. Like, I'm like, what's going on there, man? Like, what happened? It was moving in a nice direction, and it just nosedived off the cliff.
It wasn't moving in the right direction. When Doug Christie took the seat, it was over with.
That.
Yeah, before that, it was moving in the right direction. Then you had some players who were disgruntled, like De'Aaron Fox, and so you had to move him because his contract was running out. So, you were going to lose him for nothing. You might as well got something for him. So you move off of him. I get that. Doug Christie was the answer. Even if you make him the interim coach for the rest of that year, I get that because you fired Mike Brown during the season. Okay, we're gonna let Doug Christie finish this thing out because he's the assistant. But the very next year, I'm going to get a real coach. I'm not letting Doug Christie coach my team. Players, you can't respect a guy like Doug Christie. No, he's not, because he's just not that type of guy mentally. Like, he's just not that type of dude. He's
what? Uh-oh.
I hate to say
it.
it. No. I'm trying to say this I'm trying to sweeten up what I'm about to say. But
here we go.
A guy who allows his wife to treat him the way he gets treated, players are not going to respect a guy like that. The kind of guy he is. Yeah, you can love all you want, but the kind of guy that you are, players are not going to respect you. We don't believe you.
You said treat him. Like, how does she treat him?
Yeah, we don't believe you when you say, if you don't play hard, you don't play defense, I'm going to sit you down. And no, you're not going to sit me down. I don't believe you. Like, there's nothing you can do to make me want to play better or play harder, unless, like, a guy like Russ, he's already self-motivated. Yeah. He's going to go and give 100% regardless of who the head coach is. That's just how he's wired. But when you got guys like Zach LaVine and Monk and DeRozan, Sabonis, like, we don't respect you. Like, we need a real coach, and you're just not that kind of guy. So, I never thought Doug Christie was the right kind of guy for that type of job.
For me, even if you don't necessarily like your coach, you're still being paid to do a job.
Yeah, they're gonna get paid regardless.
Do your job. Like, do your job. Show up, play hard, play smart, and do your best to compete to win games. Like, for me, like that's no matter where Russ goes, no matter how he's treated, he always shows up. He's always going to give you his best. You know what I mean? No matter what happens. That's 5 points and 5 rebounds and 1 assist, or if that's 20 points, you know what I mean? Like, and 8 rebounds.
Right.
You know, so for me, what's not like the coach, or you respect him and his wife, or how she treats him, or whatever have you, do your job and show up and play hard. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be on anybody's team.
Yeah, that's I mean, it sounds good, but the truth of the matter is, they got guaranteed. They have guaranteed. Right. They have guaranteed contracts. They're gonna get all their money, and next year,
I'm looking at, like I said, I'm looking at ownership in the GM, because I'm like, why did you do what you did to begin with? If you were going to move to
that's the big problem. Why did you try to do an experiment the Chicago Bulls had already showed you was a failed experiment? Why am I putting DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine together, thinking I'm finna win in the West? We couldn't even win in the East. So now we're gonna go out west with Ant-Man, Wemby, the Joker, SGA, LeBron. We gonna win out there with y'all two. It's not gonna happen. So why am I even gonna try this experiment? It was a failed experiment in the first place. But the real problem with Sacramento is ownership. And I hate to say it, because it's one of the few franchises in the NBA that has a minority owner. The owner is of Indian nationality. So, you know, you hope that he can get together, but he hasn't hired the right president. He hasn't hired the right general manager. And the general manager hasn't hired the right coaches. And so it's a poorly ran organization all the way from the top. And until they can fix that problem, Sacramento is going to be one of the worst teams in basketball for years to come.
I mean, he had moved in the right direction when they got Mike Brown, like I said, and then I understand if him and, De'Aaron Fox couldn't get along. I'm not going to get rid of both. Like, hello. Like, I'm not going to get rid of the coach and then the player as well. Like, if the player was to leave, then you keep the coach and let him leave, and then, still keep what was working. You know what I mean? The coach, Mike Brown, was the one that was beginning to turn things around. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have got rid of both, but it's already done now. So I don't know what they're doing. Right now, he's just wasting money.
He's making money. He's making money. He's just not winning games, because Sacramento has a loyal fan base. Those people come out to Sacramento games. They don't care what their record is. They just
we weren't even really talking about Sacramento until until recently when Mike Brown got there. Like it wasn't people was
No,
afterthought. I forgot Sacramento had a team.
No, Sacramento. I mean, yeah, but they weren't showing them on TV. But I'm talking about the fans that actually come to the game. Those are some of the most loyal fans in the NBA. Sacramento has, ever since I was coming up, even before Chris Webber got hot, with him and Stojakovic and Mike Bibby, when they went on their little run, those fans was there. So just like Portland, even when Portland is bad, their fans are there. Utah, even though Utah is sorry, they're selling out every game. Some teams you go to have loyal fan bases where it doesn't matter how good the team is, the fans are going to come and those owners are going to make a profit. Now in Atlanta, if you're not good, the team is going to be playing in front of a half-empty stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta is different, but a lot of places, they have Denver, very loyal fan base, whether they win or not. And so some of those teams, some of those cities are just happy to have a franchise there. And it gives them something to do. And they're going to go out and they're going to support their team if their team got 5 wins or they got 50 wins. And so those owners, they don't have the pressure on them to win because they know that I'm going to make money regardless. Donald Sterling with the LA Clippers, he made more money than all the NBA owners every year, and he never had a winning team. He never re-signed players once their contract got up. He had no, he didn't care about winning games. He only cared about making money, and he made more money than all the other NBA owners because he was in LA, and people were going to come to the games, and they didn't care if they won 10 games or not.
I'm really curious to know when you add up everybody's salary, coaches, players, all the bills and everything, how much, of a profit are you really turning based on your ticket prices and everything? I'm curious.
But you also got to count the TV deals too. You got your.
They're not really on TV like that.
Yeah, but they're not on TV. They might not be on TV nationally, but depending on what city you're in, if you're in what they call a big market city, LA, Chicago, Houston, New York, you got your local TV deals. The LA Lakers are getting $300 million a year from their local TV deal. So regardless of whether they play on ESPN, TNT, Amazon, regardless, our local TV deal is giving us enough. That's why traditionally the Lakers could go over the luxury tax and it wouldn't hurt them as it would hurt some other teams because they had the money to do it. The owner wasn't losing money because he was already making money with the local deals that they had. That's part of being in the big market team. The advantage that a big market team have over a small market team. A small market team, but with NBA, with revenue sharing, when ESPN comes in, and I don't care if you never play a game on ESPN, revenue sharing means we're going to split the money with every team. So you're going to make your money anyway. You always going to make a profit as an NBA owner, NFL owner, Major League Baseball owner, unless you start getting into that second apron. You start getting to that luxury tax. Now that starts to come out of your pocket. So yeah, it's a money making machine. It's hard for owners to lose money.
Right now, my Warriors are kicking some butt, 44-27. So I see my guy Pods out there leading them and scoring tonight. That's my guy. All right, you guys. We'll watch this game. Hopefully, my Warriors get the win. See you guys next Monday. Any closing words when we get out of here?
Man, just make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button as usual. Follow me at One Man Cave on all social media platforms, TikTok, IG, X. Yeah, I'm on X too. Yeah, and yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been fun. We got a lot to talk about. NBA, I mean not NBA, but NFL. They making transactions, so so I look forward to it.
We're gonna see what happens,
appreciate you, Nasir, for coming through. Chief Rocker, Romero the King. Or is that Romero
Oh, I thought
Daddy?
Nasir went to bed. I know he was still there. I thought he went to bed. Yes, thank you so much. Good night, you guys. Be safe, be well. See you all soon. Peace out, you guys. Good night. Peace up. A-Town down.